in. I won't take any more yet, though, for another minute or two. I'm still trying to get set up. But yeah, very good, Jeffrey. Have fun at your meeting and look forward to seeing you a bit later on.
Thanks very much. VA2 RTV.
Why is this so dark? Oh, that's better. And who's online? Let's see, Darren. Hey, how's it going down in Montreal? Hope you haven't run out of food yet. And Steve, up there at Fenland Falls. Hope you're not sitting on your dock. That would just be rubbing salt into the wounds. And let's see, who else is on there? Jackie? Perfect. And I don't know what Jackie's referring to. Maybe she's referring to my new hairdo. Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is Laird VE3LKS, and I want to welcome you to the COVID-19 Rag Chew, Week 11, Wednesday night edition. It's Hump Night on the Rag Chew this week, and hope everyone's had a good day so far. It was another nice warm day, not quite as hot as the previous day, but it was nice to be outside once in a while, and yeah, I got some weeds pulled and some work done, and it was a good overall day. Anyways, I'll take a standby, and we will take check-ins. This is VE3LKS.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Whiskey Juliet.
VA3 BTQ.
HIX. Victor Alpha 3 Tango Papa Sierra. Victor Echo 3 Victor Golf Juliet.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Romeo Uniform, Quickie.
Okay, I've got Jeffrey was in and checked in already, RTV. VA3 KJI Grant, VE3 PWJ Peter, VA3 BTQ Jackie, VE3 HIX Bob, VA3 TPS Steve, VE3 VGJ Joe, and VE3 CRU Bill. Anybody else?
V3 CWR.
Okay, Bill, I think you said something after your call sign. What was that?
I said, I'm here for a quickie, Larry. The temperature, which where I'm now operating, is 90 degrees. I don't get my air conditioning in until Friday. So I'm not going to be hanging around up here. It's 82 degrees down the kitchen level, so I'm going to sit down there on the computer. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we'll catch you later. M3, VE3 CRU.
Okay, very good, Bill. Yeah, stay cool, and it'll make you appreciate that AC when it gets in here on Friday. Okay, so let's go back up to the top. It's Wide Open Wednesdays. Let's see, who do we have online that hasn't checked in? Darren's down in Montreal, so he's checked in on the YouTube station. And Steve's on there, Jackie's on there, and Joe's on there. No Jeff yet, but it is wide open Wednesday, so the topic of the evening is whatever you would like to talk about. Over to you, Grant, VA3 KJI.
Pretty timely, Laird, because I'd come up with a kind of a funky one anyway. So my wife figured between her and I, we figured the end of the world was nigh. So we figured we should become more self-sufficient. So I whipped up my woodworking skills, and a month ago I built a 2-foot by 4-foot raised veggie garden, so I wasn't just feeding the bunnies. We have an overabundance of the little buggers. So anyway, long story short, I planted a bunch of radishes and carrots and peas on the weekend being Saturday morning, and yesterday I'd already had radishes up. Obviously not ready to harvest, but they were sprouting. So, interesting times. I'm flashing back to my kids, my days, or my time as a child when we were talking about fathers the other night. I just remember, because I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, my dad would harvest the carrots in the fall, and we'd throw them all in the wheelbarrow and just freeze our hands washing them all off. But it was another childhood memory I won't forget. Over.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, radishes and those things, you can plant those things all throughout the year and you'll have no end of supply of radishes. They're quick to grow and then they're really good and tasty too, especially fresh from the garden. So very good on that, and glad that's working out for you. Yeah, I have a problem with feeding all the critters too. They even with the raised garden, they can sometimes find the banquet table and the all-you-can-eat smorgasbord and go to town on it. Hi. And let me see. It looks like Scotty is taking his car in to get fixed. That doesn't sound good. Hopefully he gets on the radio, and Gary Zed is online tonight as well. Peter, VE3PWJ.
Yeah, good evening, Laird, and all the good folks in there tonight. You got a good start by the sound of it. So they did have a few beans in there. So we did a bit of running around. Of course, we did see you there today. We had to take Greta up for a check over, and everything's just fine. So she's quite happy with all the test results. And I wanted to go down to Steve's shed. I had to get a couple of things for that shed. I want to fix it up against one of the doors on it. And basically that, we just stayed home, did our banking online, all that kind of good stuff. And then we were over just a little while ago to that place on Riston Road. I think you know quite well where that place is there. Go ahead and get some more beans, Laird. Over to you.
Oh, very good. Did you notice if they have my shoes in stock yet? Hi. The ones I've been looking for, but I don't want to go stand in line just to find out they don't have them. Yes, and very good. Hopefully, while you're at the vet, he was able to give you a once over too, just so that he can check your fluids and make sure everything's topped up there and send you on your way as well. And my topic for the evening, if I had to pick one, is everyone's saying you should go with these LED lights. Well, I got the LED lights, much like sort of this one here I'm holding up on YouTube here, although it's all torn apart now. But I put them in my bathroom, and they don't seem to last more than about 5 months. And it's not like I'm running them 7/24. They're only on and off, when we need them. But I find they burn out a lot. I don't know if it's moisture getting in there that's causing it from like the shower. But I'm just going to go back to plain incandescents in there because they lasted for years without blowing up, and they were a lot cheaper. So anyways, food for thought. VA3 BTQ, Jackie.
Break.
VA3 BTQ, hello everybody. I hope you enjoyed this very hot day, and I think Laird is fooled that it's a bit cooler today because of what happened to him. Anyway, I also wondered if Caleb might be interested in doing Scamp, and maybe Scamp could make some money for the club. Over.
The only problem is, Jackie, if you think I'm terrible with threatening to abscond with your dog, if you give him to Caleb, you won't see him again. But I'll run it by him, see what he charges for a cut on a dog. There was a break in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Laird. Jackie, it's Grant here in Bowmanville, VA3 KJI. You were talking about fluorescent LEDs. Never had an issue with them. I'm still got about 6 years We've had them in the bathrooms. But here's a good one for all us electromagnetic interference type people. I put them in the garage, and my daughter would back out of the garage in the morning, and the garage door opener wouldn't work. And of course, she had like the remote in the car. Anyway, long story short, I'll cut to the chase. When you hit the garage door open, it worked fine. The doors would open, the lights would come on. As soon as the lights came on, they made so much EMI that they walked over top of the transmitter in the car. The door wouldn't close.
Oh.
So 5 minutes later, I get my pants on, go out there and see what's going on. The light would be off. I hit the remote, the door would close. So that was quite a bit of troubleshooting. I actually found the answer on Google. Either the garage door company or the installers knew about it, but there's food for thought for the audience tonight. Thanks, Blair.
Oh, very good. Something to keep under advisement. Yeah, the ones I have, I don't know if you're on YouTube or not, but they just look like this, and they're the smaller ones for a bathroom fixture. But and they're Nomas. It's not like I got them at the dollar store. They're some no-name brand, but they just don't seem to last. And I've gone through too many of them, so I'm going to go back to incandescents. And for the amount of electricity that I use just on those lights, I won't worry about it. I had an interesting story with my Ford Aerostar too when it comes to noise, but I'll save that for another time. VE3 HIX, Bob.
Good evening, Larry. Good evening, everybody on the repeater. I was just thinking about the LEDs. I converted everything in this house from, there's always one or two left over, from incandescent bulbs to the spiral base type fluorescent. And then I converted again to the LEDs. You don't save a whole lot in electric fees between the spiral fluorescents and LEDs. But at least in the cold locations, they will turn on, like in the garage, for instance.
Yeah.
But they do come in various qualities and various prices and various warranties, which I notice are getting less and less as the price goes down. The warranty goes down as well. And the problem I found is the built-in power supplies, like everything else with a little switching type supply in there, the capacitors inside don't last. And every time one goes bad, especially an oddball one, Jeffrey wants to have a look at it, tear it apart, and see what's going on inside the power supply, inside the base of these things. Some of them are really, really tiny. Now you can get the chandelier type without the big white base on it, and the little tiny piece at the base has the power supply in it. And we took the first one of those things apart. You could just see how tight and how bad they really are. So you don't necessarily get what you pay for, but you do get a better warranty with it. Back to you, Larry, the E3 HIX.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on YouTube or not, Bob, but this is what mine looks like. And coming out of the back of that circuit board, there's just two wires that go to the power. So, that's all there is to it. So it's probably just one of those things is blown, but it's just disappointing because, you spend $2 or $3 on a bulb and then it just blows. Anyways, let's see who's next on the list. Steve, VA3 TPS.
Okay, very good. Good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency tonight. Well, it's a hot day up here. Spent a little bit of work outside, but got too hot, so we just had to relax and enjoy the afternoon on the front deck. And say the heck with it. Do some more chores in the morning. Other than that, not so much else to report. Just getting ready for a PSK contest tomorrow and checking stuff for the weekend. So, back to you, Laird.
Okay, very good. Did you say the contest is tomorrow or on the weekend?
Well, the 070 PSK 31 Club, they have a 3-day weekend contest. They run from Thursday night to Sunday night. So, the bonus station in it. So, just checking and making sure everything's up to speed. And hopefully, any thunderstorms we're supposed to get tomorrow night or Friday won't interfere.
Excellent. Well, good luck on that, Steve, and have lots of fun. I know you like getting into those things, and it's like anything else. if you enjoy it, that's a key factor. And I've only done PSK a couple times. I should probably get more into it. I'll maybe need to pick your brain sometime about that. I'm more just FT8, but I'm always open for other modes as well. Very good, Steve, and glad glad it wasn't too hot up there. But yeah, I think the weatherman's calling for thunderstorms here tomorrow morning, but I'll have to double check that because you know how it goes; they change regularly. Joe, VE3 VGJ.
Good evening, Laird and everybody on frequency. Not a lot to report on today. I heard this morning that the SpaceX was launching a rocket there to
Nope.
Meet up with the space station.
Didn't go.
And it had 2 astronauts. The first time anybody's been launched from the States there, I think since 2011. They've always been using the Russian rockets. And anyway, so I got home here on time. Great coverage on it on YouTube there. Streaming. Unfortunately, the weather held them up and they canceled the launch. But really interesting. What a change in design in the spaceships or the rockets and the capsules. And did some research on it. This capsule, I guess, will hold up to 7 astronauts. Quite the vessel. And what was the other thing about it? Yeah, it was a whole different design, and even the way they get in and out of it, it was quite interesting. Back to you.
Funny you mentioned that. I was watching that this afternoon too, and listening to the feed on Facebook, and it's really quite interesting, as you say. And yeah, it's not like the old Apollo capsules where they were crammed in there like sardines. This almost looks like it's very futuristic, you know. And yeah, I think the capsule was made by. Was the capsule made by Elon Musk, or was everything made by Elon Musk? But yeah, it's quite the interesting venture. I even set my alarm so that I knew I was going to be outside, so I'd come in 10 minutes early, and I was disappointed when they had canceled it. But I guess they'll try again tomorrow. I think they have a couple of times tomorrow where they can try to launch it off. So hopefully they will get that thing fired up and off into space. CRU's gone. VE3 CWR, Gerard.
Yeah, okay, good evening. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah. Okay, Laird, I thought I was going crazy. I switched the whole place over to those bulbs. And you go in my bathroom now, one starts blinking. You go in the bedroom, one starts blinking. And I can't reach them, so I have to wait till my grandson comes. They're great. I've got them in now about 7 or 8 years, I guess, the first ones. The spotlights are great in the kitchen. And they hardly heat up at all. But the ones that look like regular bulbs, I don't know if I got a bad batch, but they were the good ones. They were the ones that the hydro were giving you a percentage off there if you bought them. They're the ones I'm having trouble with. But yeah, they are terrible. But even if they don't work, if you put them near an RF source, they'll light up great. But yeah, I've opened a few up. It's the same as the big TVs. You know, you lose the picture, you open it up, and you'll find out that there's a 10-cent cap gone in it. Apparently, they had a big run on bad capacitors one time, and that's all that's wrong with half of these TVs. Bad caps.
Yeah, and just looking at these things, I know I've looked at TVs too. You know, the parts are so small that there's no way you can even solder them. You know, maybe a couple of the parts you could desolder and put a new one in, but you'd be pretty pressed to remove anything else in there. And at least at my advanced age and my good eyesight and my bad hands. Anyways, yes, it's just as I say, it's just disappointing that they wear out so fast. So I'll have to do some more research into there. See if maybe I'll go online tomorrow and put this make and model in and see if anybody else has been having the same problems. Let's see. We're at the bottom of the list, so I'm going to take a standby and see if anybody else wants to check into the Rag Chew this evening. This is Laird, VE3LKS, and now's your opportunity. Well, that was a good double.
Victor Echo 3, Lima, Sierra, Oscar.
Hey, Lee. Okay, I acknowledge Victor Echo 3, Lima Sierra Oscar. That's Lee. I think there was 2 other stations in there, but you walked over each other.
Victor Alpha 3, Delta, Charlie, Echo.
Dougie.
VE3, IRB.
And Robert. Okay, very good. I acknowledge VA3, DCE Doug, and VE3, IRB Robert. Anybody else wishing to check in at this time? Well, can't say that I don't blame them because it is a nice evening out there. So I'm going to have to rig up my laptop so I can do it outside under the patio umbrella or something, and maybe give that a shot one night. And maybe I can introduce you to my 2 friends, the chipmunks that I've got eating out of my lap now. So one of them is pretty bold too. If I don't have enough peanuts in my hand, he'll just sort of turn around, sit down, and look at me as if to say, "Well, I can take one more here." Anyways, it's Wide Open Wednesday, Lee. So what that means, you can talk about anything you want. We sort of have a side topic going on, and that is LED lights. I was bemoaning the fact that 2 of mine blew out in my bathroom just this week, and I've had 2 others blow out recently. And you know, at $3 or $4 a pop, it gets expensive. So I was saying I'm going to go back to the incandescents, and I was just wondering if anybody else had that same problem. No one's had the problem with the bathroom, but they've had noise problems with them too. Anyways, back to you, Lee, and good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Laird, to yourself and everybody on frequency. Let me see, the only experience that I've had, or negative experience, I should say, that I've had with LED lights was LED headlights. Produced a wicked amount of noise to the point that I couldn't use my FM radio in the truck. It was just way too noisy. And they didn't just die completely, they faded out to the point where by the time I finally replaced them, it was so dim I could barely see. So it was almost one of those death by 1,000 cuts. It wasn't right away, but just slowly over time. So that's been my experience with them. I went back to the incandescent for the truck headlights, and I'm far happier again. And today, I've been working on my cargo trailer that I'm hoping to use on field day somewhere. I've got a portable bed set up. I've got shelving in there. I'm just waiting for what I need in order to put in 12-volt power. So just the connectors for the battery, a battery box, a switch panel for the lights, and then the other thing was I put up in the nose, I put a Murphy table. So that's been my day today. Back to you, Laird, from VE3 LFO.
Well, I think when you get that all done, you need to send us some pictures, and we'll put that in the newsletter, because you're doing something that a lot of us would probably like to do. And yeah, so have you thought about where you might operate field day this year, or is it still up in the air at the moment?
Yeah, still up in the air at this point. Me and my Elmer have been talking about possible sites, of course, at a socially acceptable distance. But we haven't nailed down anything yet, so still up in the air.
Oh, very good, Lee. Well, you'll need to fire us off a message closer to the date, and that way a bunch of us guys can try giving you some contacts. Sounds like a lot of fun, and it's always fun. As my friend Joe says, Imagineering. You know, all that kind of stuff. And speaking of Joe, did I miss Joe? VE3 VGJ. I'm a bit tired and worn out from the sun today. Did I miss you, Joe, or did you get in there? No, you did, because we were talking about SpaceX. Yeah, my mistake. Okay, very good. We'll go on down the list then while I'm still awake to Doug, VA3 DCE.
Well, thank you for not forgetting me, Laird. Nothing much happened today. I got my bike ready to go, but it's ready for the road now, or the trail or whatever. I looked at it, it was so dirty. I put it on the rack in the back of the truck, took it down to the car wash, and the car wash is now a bike wash. Brought it home again, fixed up all the lights. Maybe, just maybe tomorrow I'll give it a try. And while I'm here, I forgot last night tapioca pudding. I love tapioca pudding, one of my favorite desserts. Back to you, Laird.
Yes, or fish eggs, as we used to nickname it. And yes, tapioca is good, especially with a wee bit of cinnamon. Same thing for rice pudding. I like rice pudding with just a wee bit of cinnamon. Some people cake it on there. I just like just a slight taste of it. And actually, Peter PWJ, he brought over his $15 that he lost to me, and we were chatting for a minute, and he was telling me about something that he forgot as a child, and maybe on his next go around he can tell us what the dessert was. And if Lee has no idea what the heck we're talking about, last night we were talking about our favorite main course dishes and our favorite desserts that we had growing up that mom or grandma would make. And people are losing money because I needed a haircut real bad, and I said I'll take it right down to a number one if people throw in $10. So we had a whole bunch of people throw in $10. And then some other bright light said, hey, if you shave your beard off, we'll give you another $5. So I did. And so I think we made just close to $200 on that deal. And we're going to use it towards purchasing a Zoom meeting membership so that we don't have to keep resetting the Zoom meeting every 40 minutes. And with that, we will go down to Robert, VE3 IRB. Good evening.
VE3 IRB. This will be my first and last check-in. I've got a Zoom meeting at 7:30. In terms of the bulbs in my living room, I took out the curly Q ones just recently and put back in incandescents. With all the Zoom meetings, it was just too dark in the room. My favorite ones, I've got 3 of the new fluorescents that you can change the color to. I've got them in my bedroom, and I actually like those ones. You can vary the intensity and all that sort of stuff. It's a play toy, but we like play toys. But I like a good solid light there with them. But with that, I'll say $73. Back to you.
Oh, very good. So you can set the ambiance when the time is right. Very good, Bob. And I hadn't heard of fluorescence that you could do that with. I knew you could do it with LEDs, so I have to check into that now. See, you piqued my curiosity on something. So very good. Well, have fun on your Zoom meeting, Bob. And if you are over by the time and we're still on here, feel free to jump back in. And the Zoom meetings are becoming quite popular. That's where Jeffrey is right now. And with that, I will take one more call for check-ins before we go back to the top of the list.
Just to clarify, they're LEDs, not fluorescents in my bedroom.
Oh, okay, very good. I must have misheard that. I thought you said fluorescence, and I'm going, I've never heard that. But okay, very good. And yeah, I've got LEDs down here in my shack that I can change colors. I've got them all underneath my shelving unit. So if I'm down here and I don't want the bright lights on, I've got a remote control and I can turn them on, and then I can change colors and all sorts of things. So yeah, okay, very good, Bob. I think I got mine at Costco. There was like a pack of 6 or something. But the only problem is they run on AAA batteries, and I left them on one weekend and wasn't down in my shack the whole time, and yeah, the batteries went dead, so I had to replace them all again. So there went 18 batteries. Anyways, we'll go back to the top to let's see if Jeffrey's back with us. VA3 RTV. Okay, nothing heard. I wasn't expecting him back before 8 o'clock anyways. Let's see, who's next? Grant, VA3 KJI. And is this poker night for the ladies?
Absolutely. I can hear them cackling from here. I probably don't have any bandwidth on my on my on my what do you call it, the Wi-Fi right now. That's funny. But it's funny we were talking about. I heard one of the guys talk about his bike. Yeah, I actually got my bicycle to the garage the last 2 days, and I did 15 kilometers today. I felt like 50. Like so it's been a year since I've been on the bike, and man, oh man, it's that and age is catching up with me. Over.
Oh, I hear you. I've got mine out and ready to go too, but I haven't gone too far with it, just around the block a few times. But at least we're down here where it's somewhat flat. Doug, the other fellow who had his bike, he's up in Uxbridge, and to get anywhere in Uxbridge, it's uphill both ways, and they got some pretty big hills up in that area. So he'll get a workout, unless he loads it on his truck and takes it somewhere where it's nice and flat. But yeah, it is nice, and I would say it's nice to feel the cool wind in my hair, but I can't say that anymore. Now I'm more aerodynamic thanks to you guys. VA3 BTQ Jackie.
Hello, everybody. I haven't got much more to add except who else would take a dog who is very hot out for a ride in an air-conditioned vehicle, which is what I did today. Over.
Oh, you're too good to my dog there, Jackie. I couldn't have picked a nicer person to look after him. And did you take him for a walk too, or did you let him bypass that torture?
No, we bypassed that torture. He's too tired and too flaked out to even hold himself up. Over.
Yeah, I can only imagine with this heat, it's not good for them, I'm sure, especially ones with quite a bit of hair on them, like Scamp has. So, a Chihuahua may not have any problems, but I think Scamp would probably be pretty worn out pretty quick walking around in this weather. Very good. Well, that was nice of you. Now, if you were really nice, you would have gone for a ride up to, say, Enniskillen and given it a little bit of ice cream.
I'm not that nice. Over.
Oh, Jackie, my image of you is shattered now. Oh, well, very good. And yeah, keep spoiling that dog. Let's see, VE3HIX Bob.
Okay, not much more here. Got to get out. I do most of my grocery shopping and other types of shopping just before closing time because I notice that everybody stays home at that point. So it makes it maybe a little safer walking around in the stores. My wife asked me to pick up a couple of bottles of wine for her, and I have noticed driving by the liquor stores that the lineup is very long going outside. I think I counted 17 people the last time by. I said, sorry, dear, I couldn't stop off there. But I'll try that again this evening just before closing time and see what happens. In the meantime, I hope to see you guys Saturday. I have an envelope here with $15 in it for you. We'll have to pay for things in the future there. Back to you, Laird, VE3HIX.
Very good, Bob. Well, you make sure you give that to me so I can give it back to you. Yeah, I've got an e-transfer, actually. Grant sent me an e-transfer, so I've got that. And Peter dropped me off some cold, hard cash. So it's slowly trickling in. And now, if you're not a wine snob, Bob, I think our No Frills up by where we are has a little wine kiosk there. You can even get the fancy stuff in the cardboard box, I think.
Oh, my wife likes this yellowtail, is it? The Australian stuff. She's an Australian herself. And forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yes, the money. As treasurer, you're going to make me keep track of that stuff and put it on the spreadsheet and give it back out to you to pay for this, or are you just going to take donations and go through that yourself. Over.
Oh, no, there's an idea. Yeah, we can do that. We'll record it. I'll let you know everyone who sent me in funds. As I say, so far it's PWJ and Grant at KJI, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I will have to decide whether we want to get a yearly membership, or if we just want to go month to month to see how this COVID thing is going to go. But yeah, either way is fine with me. But we will log it, and I will submit a receipt just so that's it's all accounted for, just in case anyone asks down the road. And very good. So I guess the wine in the Tetra Pak is out of the question. Well, good luck standing there in line, Bob, and maybe you should pay someone to go there and stand in line for you about 2 hours ahead of time. Let's see, down to Steve, VA3 TPS, VE3 LKS.
Okay, VE3 LKS, VA3 TPS. Very good, Laird. I'm not sure about the LCBOs down there. I know the one here closes on Mondays. And every morning if I go to the mailbox, there seems to be a lineup. But if you go back in the afternoon, the lineup's gone. So it appears to be the time around here. Normally is to hit the liquor store around in the afternoon sometimes. There's no lineup. And I'm really disappointed. Jackie didn't take your dog for an ice cream. That's so disappointing. I thought she would have done that. Oh, well, you learn something new about people every day. Anyways, listening to the end there, Laird. Great job as usual. And I'll say 7-3 and VA3 TPS here in Finland.
Oh, very good, Steve. Yes, it's. I'll have to sit down and have a word-to-word with her and, straighten her out a bit on that, because you got to give your dog ice cream once in a while. Not a huge dish. Like, you wouldn't want to give them even the small from Enniskillen, because the small is huge. But, a few teaspoons, and yeah, you gotta treat your animals better than she does. Anyways, VE3 VGJ Joe.
Yes, Laird. Doug mentioned something tapioca pudding. Holy smokes, I've forgotten all about that. I'm going to get some next time at the grocery store. And yes, I'm being fish eggs or fish eyes, we used to call them there. I always enjoyed them. Remember getting them were really big ones one time. I don't know where Mom got them, but that was quite good. And the launch there, the makeup launch for the SpaceX there, the launch is Saturday at I think 3 o'clock, or just about 3:20 or 3:22 or something. Sort of an exact time they were doing these launches at for some reason. I guess it's to made up for the space station. So Saturday at 3:20 in the afternoon, around that time anyway. And the funny thing was too, and I noticed Scott wrote it up on the little menu on the side of the YouTube screen here. The astronauts' names were Bob and Doug. And every time they said their names, I had a little bit of a smile.
I know.
Back to you.
Yeah, and they're astronauts, and they're gonna take off, eh?
That's a good one. I didn't think of that one, but yeah, take off, eh?
Yeah, no, just to go to show you what I was thinking about when they're talking about these guys in the capsule. It's going to take them, once they take off, it'll take them, I think, somewhere between 20 and 22 hours to meet up with the space shuttle, because they have to cross paths and everything else, and go quite a distance, or not the space shuttle, the space station. So my immediate thought was, since I'm getting older, is I want to see what kind of bathroom facilities they have on that little capsule that takes them up. And I'm very intrigued as to how that works, because you can't hold it that long. It's going to be impossible. Anyways, maybe I'll write into NASA and see if they can tell us tomorrow or Friday how that works on the capsule that's going up. I'm sure they'll get right on it. Let's see, VE3CWR. Oh, before we go to Gerard, I want to go back up to Peter, because Peter was mentioning some dessert today called a log, I think he said it was. Peter, you want to refresh my memory?
what's this thing is? It's made with chocolate wafers and whipped cream, and that's something we always have at Christmas dinner. And Mom always made that. Now my oldest daughter's taken that job over since Mom passed away, and it's quite good. I was telling Laird that I don't think Laird would like it though. That he'd give me a funny looking face. But anyway, it's something to try. And on the subject of LED lights, in the sunroom, I have them all the way along the ceiling, and you can vary them and has a remote control with them. Anyway, back over to you, Laird.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we may have to, we may have to open up a recipe exchange in our newsletter now, because some of those recipes last night just sounded to die for, and we must try them. So I think maybe we'll have to start collecting them and posting them in our newsletter. Now we'll go to Gerard, VE3CWR.
Okay, well, Larry, you don't watch that TV show. What do you call it? It showed how they go to the bathroom in space. What do you call it? That 3 boys or 4 boys that are on there. The Big Bang Theory. Yeah. One of them designed a toilet for space there. Anyway, yeah, the tapioca's good, but you got to watch it. You got to make sure the raisins are really raisins.
Oh no, there's one in every crowd. But we do appreciate your humor there, Gerard. And yes, you always have to make sure it's something that you want to eat in there. Let's see, where are we down to now? Lee, VE3LSO. Oh, I guess Lee had to step aside. Let's see. Just going through the YouTube here for a minute. Let's see. No, the astronauts weren't Canadian, but Bob and Doug, yes, they were. Every time they said, astronauts, Bob and Doug, I just about died because all I could think of guys wearing toques. I had to double check every time. Do they have toques on? And where's the case of 24? Anyways, very good. And Alex is here. Good to have you here, Alex. And what was that? Yes, Alex, I cut my hair short. It was a fundraiser for the club. $10. The guys said that they would give me $10 if I cut my hair and another $5 if I shave my beard off. And we're going to use that as a fundraiser because we didn't have Hamfest this year. And so it just adds a bit of money to the coffers, and we're going to use it and apply it towards a, what's that called? A Zoom meeting account, so that we don't have the free one anymore. The free one allows you 40 minutes and you can reset it, but then you got to, it's a pain because you got to go back to where you were and continue on, and you got to let everyone back in. This way we can have a meeting up to 24 hours in length and it won't do anything. Let's see. And who else was on there? Brian. Good evening, Brian. And glad to have you on the YouTube channel. And yeah, it was $10 for the hair and $5 for the shave. So, and there was no out-of-pocket expense. My son was way too happy to be obliged to do it. So there you go. I'll take a quick check to see if Lee's back. VE3LSO. Okay, nothing heard. Doug, VA3DCE.
Well, good evening again, Laird and everybody. And for Gerard there, we always had the tapioca pudding in the winter time or late fall, and we didn't have to worry whether races were races or whatever. I don't want to think about the other. Anyway, that's all I got tonight. Good evening. Thanks again, Laird, and BA3DCE will listen till the end.
Okay, very good. And speaking of the end, I think that Bob, or let's say Robert's gone to a Zoom meeting as well, IRB. So I will take a final call for check-in. So if anybody is sitting there wanting to figure out if they should check in or not, just grab that microphone, hit the push to talk, and give us your call sign. This is Laird VE3 LKS. Okay, nothing heard. Well, it was wide open Wednesday, and we've gone through twice now, guys. So it's about, let's see, it's about 7:45. I'm not sure if I've got it in me to go for another round, but if anybody needs to discuss anything or have any questions or any comments, maybe we'll open it up, and anyone who has a question or a comment can step up right now. This is Laird VE3 LKS. Take it away.
VA3BTQ. This is something for Bob for wine. It goes up to Brooklyn, up to Port Perry. There's very seldom a lineup. If there is a lineup, go to Brooklyn. There will be a lineup, and then go back up to Port Perry. There is no lineup. It adds a couple of bucks to your wine, but they've got everything. Hi. Over.
Yes, and your dog agrees with you. Thanks very much. VE3HIX out.
Okay, I know I'm really concerned. Jackie seems to know everything about all the liquor stores around here, but she won't take her dog to give him a little bit of ice cream. Boy, that isn't that if that was a child, wouldn't we be calling animal services or something on her? No. Very good, Jackie. Thanks for that information. I'm sure others would appreciate that too, because I know just going by the liquor store here on Adelaide, at the Costco Plaza, I've seen it where it comes out the main door to the north of the building, and then down the sidewalk heading west back towards Robert's house there on Mary, and it hasn't quite gone across the street yet, but I've seen it right to the corner of that street right behind the Costco Plaza, and that's crazy. And I can only imagine how long you got to stand there just to get in for that one. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
VA3BTQ. Not sure you heard me, but I said my horses got ice cream today. It's Scamp's turn tomorrow. Over.
Okay, very good, Jackie. You're starting to redeem yourself now, so we'll give you a glimmer of hope here. Very good. Just out of curiosity, on days like this, do you even bother saddling the horses up, or do you just let them graze?
No, I do go to the barn and check them out, but no, it's just too hot to saddle them up and expect them to do anything. So I renege. Okay, over.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, look at us. We're humans, and we don't want to do anything when it gets too hot either. So I can only imagine what a horse would feel like too. Very good. So does anybody else have any questions, comments, ideas for topics for the rest of the week for the Rag Chew? Okay, nothing heard. Well, it's the, as I always like to say, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. We had a great Rag Chew this evening, and thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules of going nowhere there and nowhere over there, and staying home and joining us. And look forward to doing it again tomorrow night. And with that, I will say 73, everybody, and wish everyone a good evening. And just a heads up to the guys on YouTube, I'll shut it down in just a couple of minutes. So VE3LKS, I'll be clear. Oh, glad you're back to work, Brian. Figures you have to go back to work when the weather starts getting nice, though, eh? Why does that always happen? Yep, 73 is my friend. And how was your nooner today? I can just imagine people are probably on YouTube going, what the heck is a nooner? And why does that guy want to know? Interesting. Darren says the astronauts wear diapers.
V3 LKS, this is VA3, BAH.
Hey, I just heard myself. How'd that happen? Good evening, Brian. How's it going? VE3LKS.
You're hiring yourself through me because I've got. Did you hear yourself? Because I've got you on YouTube on the TV, and I'm using DV switch through the Star through my phone.
Yeah, it sounds like a really bad chicken band mic, with the echo on it. Sounds like a really bad chicken band mic, with the echo on it.
I bet you just heard yourself.
Really bad chicken band mic, with the echo on it.
I bet you just heard yourself.
Brian, shut it off. It's in an endless loop now.
I'm just going to say good night and let you know that, I work on a boat, right? So all I'm doing right now is scraping barnacles.
Okay, very good. That's weird. It's just an endless loop. That's amazing. Okay, very good. That's weird. It's just an endless loop. That's amazing.
I'm glad you like it.
Okay, very good. Well, 73s, my friend, and get back to chipping the barnacles off the boats. Have a great evening and nice chatting. VE3LKS.
Roger that, sir. Have a good night. BA3, BAH is